technology, I think if India could take, I think we have a very good chance of being successful in the world.
Okay, Siddharth, yours is another great example of how technology can really intervene and solve a pain point. So you're essentially acting as a bridge between shippers and truckers. So, briefly explain to everybody who's listening, what the gap it is that you're trying to fill, and also how receptive the market has been to your idea, because this is a very unorganized sector that you're dealing with, isn't it? And trying to get them actually to come on board and use technology and the internet.
Technology can solve a lot of things. One, smarten up the thing, fasten up the thing. But if we see the logistics space in India, it's not the absence of technology which is the only problem. If we talk about long haul transportation, you see the gap in demand and supply and the utilization of fleet is so poor that the fleet utilization can be as low as 70%. Now, when we talk about technology, penetration, adoption of technology, everything boils down to profitability. And everything at the end of it comes to business. So what we are doing out here first is removing that bottleneck of fleet utilization. Let's bring that asset utilization on a higher side. Now if we can bring that 10% up from the current levels of 70%, bring it back to 85, 90%, I think that alone will push a lot of people towards technical penetration. So we are using technology actually now to bridge the gap between demand and supply today.
Dr. John, I want to ask you to briefly intervene on this whole idea of the fact that we don't have enough skills in people either developing these capabilities or using them, and also the cost aspect of technology and whether that needs to really come down for connected supply chains to take off.
I'm a bit of a skeptic. I don't think it's the skills and the competences. It's more about leadership. In a sense, if I was in India, I'd be looking at certain industries and trying to get the more innovative industries up and over the line to demonstrate that it can be done, and then you can roll it out. It's like anything change thing. You try to get some small wins and so on. I mean, if you look at what Zara's done, their technology's no better than anyone else's, but they've just been more innovative. I went and visited them in Spain. I had a whole day of, they use combinations of technology, CAD/CAM design, but they do some own manufacturing and they send some stuff out. It's just good management, good leadership. And one of the interesting little things they did, that there's a device that goes on every garment. You see it in the shops. It's actually a security device. You go to buy something and it's got to come off before you can. But actually what they did, they got onto Tyco and they said, look, not only do we want this to be a security device, we want it to be a tracking device. And so every single garment that they bought overseas in China or India, not the ones that they made themselves, had one of these devices on it. And as it went through the loop and through FedEx and through distribution centres, they knew where it was. And it only came off at the store when the product was actually bought by the consumer, and it gave them knowledge about not only where it was, but what the sales were, etc. In the stores themselves that they own, they were the first people I ever saw that had these little microphones on the store assistants walking around so they could communicate with each other. So I think it's down to more of the senior management, the top leadership, creating a culture of innovation, getting some wins, showing that some industries can do it, and then take these tough industries on later on. I don't think it's all just about administrative thing at all.
All right, so last word to you, Harry, and we have all of the sort of pieces of the puzzle, it seems, falling in place. So you have India going cashless, we're slowly connecting. There's also the GST, which is going to be a big game changer. I wonder if 10 years down the line, infrastructure is going to change, or is it going to remain the same? Because that's, the big part of the puzzle that needs to fall into place.
No, I think infrastructure is changing. You have to look at most of the cities now have started putting in the metro line. The minister did mention about the highways. Well, the highways are progressing, but I think a lot of privatization needs to take place for the highways to change. I think the shift has to be from urbanization to de-urbanization. I think that's where the challenge is. We have got people now crowding our cities. The government and also the private sector needs to start looking at taking business away from the urban centers and into the hinterlands, where I think we can have a better opportunity to spread out, and then infrastructure woes will go away. But yes, we have a lot of progress to be made. It requires a public-private partnership to do that.
All right, so it's going to be a state of flux, and I think we need to be equally mindful of the challenges and the threats as we are of the opportunities. But a big round of applause for our panel. Thank you.